needs you, suddenly your whole life changes.
Okay, I'm back.
And
We'll
you're
just let
faced
us
with an
run for another 15
unnavigable
minutes or
system.
so because my son's
Absolutely
on my
impossible
computer
to
and I'm really
work out
tired. I did
how
4
to get
days of
from A
yard
to B
work.
to C,
I'm
what it
so
is
tired
that
right
they
now,
are
so
entitled
sore.
to, how to
So
access it,
we'll just
whether they're
listen for a
entitled
little
to
while
any money,
longer.
what sort of sports they're entitled to, let alone that once they find out what they can, they
I
find
hope
out
my
that there's not a
landlord
waiting list.
appreciates what I'm
So
doing
I'd
for
like to
her.
ask the Minister whether
I
as
really
part of
do.
this
I'm supposed to see her
review
tomorrow.
there will be some effort put into making things much more accessible for
I'm
the
going to try and cut
families.
a deal for that porch. I told you the party on the porch wasn't over yet. You know, on the porch roof, right? My leaky roof. Where the X Club is. For the kids that they never use. Nobody can get to it. You have to dig through a bunch of garbage just to find it. Kind of like this place, what we're watching right now. I'm going to have to go and find it. Like I said, I can read faster than this. Although I enjoy actually listening to the people themselves, you know, on a good day. There's not too many of those anymore, though. If the house was ever staged, and sometimes it is, you know, it's really staged now. Wow, this is just grand. Now you know why I fall asleep sometimes. The reason the BC Liberal governments changed it, so they said, in terms of how they do the debate, was to save money. So that, you know, it was a controlled, allotted time so that they could budget it down to the last penny how much each MLA was going to make for overtime being on the island if they had to travel to get there for the debate. Right? So they have it timed like a calculator. And everybody gets paid based on their sliding, you know, wage scale. But then after they did that, they brought in a wage increase that the NDP didn't want to take it because, you know, they were expressing the same things that they're expressing today in terms of poverty and, you know, hard for middle class, and it's not just poor people, it's everybody, right? And the BC Liberal government brought it in that if they didn't take it, they wouldn't get it. So the NDP decided as a collective to take that extra money that they were making on their wages and donate it to charities, right? Because they didn't feel comfortable with taking away, you know, everywhere else just to give themselves a raise and, you know, get funky on the debate on top of it where it's, you know, time to the last minute and, you know, splintered off here and there where you don't even know where it is and what you're debating half the time. And it just breeds a lot of frustration, you know. Like I said, it's just, you know, it just look where the main route is. If the House is frustrated like this, could you imagine what our society is like? And if you can't imagine it, then you're in freaking denial. And I said all that in a matter of how many minutes waiting for this answer? Do we even know what the question was anymore? We're waiting so freaking long. And a lot of these questions are submitted long before they show up into these rooms. Don't kid yourself, okay? They're just trying to make it look like they're important. They just want to make these people, they change the rules every year. You know, do a 50-50. These are the rules. You get it all ready. You write it all up. You get it all connected. You get the right people involved. You submit it. By the time something doesn't go all it takes is one thing not to go through. Everything starts to fall off the grid. By the time you start doing it the second time around, like someone in my case that's not like got a freaking staff of 20 people behind me, right? You know, by the time you submit it the second time around, you find out the rules changed.
Mm-hmm.
Minister.
Thanks, Chair, and through to the member. In answer to the, we do have a policy for a once-a-year visit to
they're
all
bringing in
that
their
is now in
own
place.
50-50s.
Having said that,
It used to be the
high
lottery,
priority
not
was
anymore. I'm
we
starting to see
recommended those,
advertisement,
high-priority
you know,
children,
through these
and
sponsored,
youth,
because
and
anything
that was the
gambling is
priority one group
government.
that I
You
mentioned
can't get a
earlier,
gambling
and that
license
has
unless
already
you go
been
through the
done.
government, okay?
We do recognize.
I'm just using
the
that as an
challenge
example
with
of how they
waitlist,
change rules.
and that's quite frankly why we
Yeah.
are reviewing the demand.
And they don't
right
just
now,
change them
and
at a
we have
provincial
put in
level.
an additional
Well, I guess we should listen to what the answer is here. Hold on. To the question that I don't remember what it was.
In reference to the member's question on navigability of the system, it's always a challenge, especially for new families when there has been a diagnosis. I have it in my own family with a couple of members, and there is always the now what. And it is a challenge. What the ministry is doing right now is they're focusing on the high priority cases first to assist them, because naturally that is those are the ones that the greatest need is there. But as I mentioned, for the other, certainly the priority 3, of which is 67% of the caseloads, there is the website that we have, and we are actually in the process of simplifying the website to help families navigate through what they can do and what they can expect.
Oh yeah, check this one out.
As they deal with a new diagnosis.
Governments are using
Is the
social media
400,000
networks now, MLAs,
going
to promote their causes.
Ministry services, or will it be going out to
It's
the
pretty popular.
contracted
Christy Clark
services?
has one too. I seen that on the news tonight. But I find it interesting that I don't have a Facebook page, and you know I set up 2 for the nonprofit. I can't even use them. I can't. I tried to send out contacts after it took me 2 days to figure out how to do that. And it didn't go through, so I tried to send it back, and it's telling me I'm being spammy, and it won't let me use the email that I had specifically open for the Facebook. So I find this to be very suspicious that, you know, there's a lot of messaging going out on Facebook through MLAs and groups, you know, parties, right? But yet individuals that are maybe outspoken against some of the things that, you know, we see as injustice in our society are having a difficult time moving forward with our agendas, which aren't, you know, necessarily bad. I don't see how helping kids can be bad, right? Or helping families or homeless people or, you know, animals and all that other stuff. Like I don't see how it's any more bad than what these people are trying to do. The only difference is they have the resources to actually make a difference where I don't. I have no resources.
And I'm sure that one of the next questions would be, where are they going? And that's the ministry, I've been informed, are in the process of determining how the money will be allocated to that, to the early
So when they
years.
promote their websites, you know, that's just like, here's a phone call. Phone them and maybe they'll help you, right?
My colleague
But I bet you
from
somehow, some way,
Pleasant,
all these
this
websites are
morning,
starting to connect up with
I think gave a
Facebook
very good
or some other social
uh,
networking website to promote the, you know, the right-wing agenda or the left-wing agenda. You know, what about just the human agenda?
She's going
You know?
to be looking at changes to the program. And I wondered if she could explain what those changes are. I know that there are people who are working on the front lines who have said that they are eagerly awaiting those
We're
changes.
just going around in circles.
Yeah.
And instead of digging ourselves up and out of the hole, we're digging ourselves deeper into the hole, like a spiraling down, right? Like a whirlpool. That's why I can't do too many of these, because I'm just sounding like a broken record, right? Talking about the same old shit. you know. And even if I did pull out the actual debates and, you know, posted each link to each page and highlighted certain comments, and, you know, I wish I had the time to do that, but honestly I don't. And if you watch my videos, you know it would be very hard for me to fit that in my daily schedule, right? So, but it's not something that couldn't be done. And you know, would it make a difference? You know, if you read it, if you hear it, if you actually live it, you experience it, like, where's the difference? So me rehashing the same old shit that's been hashed on in every different way that think possible, you know, in literature and language and in art and in protest, and, you know, like, some people just don't wake up. They don't care. That's the bottom line. They don't fucking care. Their agenda is way beyond caring. I don't know how else to explain it. I really don't. Because it's vicious. And I've said this before. I haven't uploaded those videos. They're still sitting on my freaking computer. I've been working on the yard. I've been trying to think about more positive things, something that I can actually produce something and be proud of at the end of the day. This crap, what I'm talking about and what we're watching right now, what's it going to produce? I feel sorry for these people that got to stand on the other side and continue to say the same old stuff over and over and over again, you know, because I know how I'm feeling about it, and I can only imagine how they'd feel about it. We already know the one standing on the other side of the freaking fence there, you know, on the other across the side of the house, you know, they got shields on. There's something shielding them. They don't feel nothing.
Chair, and I think
like they got some invisible armor or something.
Extended family program. I'll just mention,
or maybe they're those lizard people, right?
Amending, of course, the CFCSA Act to allow for permanent transfer of.
There's that speculation that we got aliens walking around among us. That's why some people don't care about radiation, because it's good for them. Maybe good for them, but not good for us humans, right?
Again, that's a big step that happened there. Embedding permanency planning into the newly drafted policies for the child protection response model.
And Christy Clark doesn't like it. She can always come pick up my fucking books. I don't care. Like, really.
Program. But
she
again,
can be the one to
more
dissolve the
things that have to
nonprofit
happen.
because she thinks she owns it anyway.
The member, one of the members this morning, when they were talking about 3 different cases, there were 3
I don't
very
like talking
different
like this.
challenges
I wish
within
I could
the
talk
same
about
program.
more
So
positive
there's
things.
complexity of
That's
the
why I started a
individual issues, and
nonprofit, was
that's
to
why
bring
we
something
were,
positive, to add
very
on,
happy
to add on, to make it more positive. I was positive. I was a very positive woman, you know, when I started that. I was a woman. I wasn't no kid. I was a woman. I already had life experiences behind me.
We're developing a new caregiver education framework, and then we're harmonizing.
Now it seems I'm just turning into some old hag.
Caregivers.
You know, I live in a weed-infested environment, you know, right? Flappy porches and with tarps all over.
And I think all of these things,
homeless people coming into my yard.
Will make a difference within the program, but I think. What the member brought up this morning with respect to the challenges of 3 individual families was a very, it was a point taken, and I think it's something
children
that
having
we
nervous
can,
breakdowns,
and see what we can do to make it even stronger program.
Member.
I wonder if the minister could just tell me first how many families are accessing the program and what the budget is for the
I
program
still
at the
don't
moment.
know what this program is. Now, I know I'm tired and everything, and I'm pissed off with my son, and, you know, as soon as I turned on this, I got more mad, right? I understand that, but, like, I still don't know what I'm thinking about Jenny. Like, what happened to Jenny? That's what we were talking about 45 minutes ago. That's who we were listening to. We were listening to Jenny from Mount Pleasant, okay? And, like, do we have to wait till tomorrow to hear what she has to say, or is it coming on after this, or maybe we got to go see it on Saturday? You know, because they'd have this all mixed up on different days at different times. Like, you need a pad and a paper to write everything down. And they don't tell you what they're debating. They just give you the time. So they don't tell you, oh, well, it's this debate from that day with this person,
Thank you,
right? They
Chair.
just want you to catch it and get lucky.
The extended family program child caseload now totals 393 as of February 2012. That's an increase of almost 200 cases since March 2010, when the caseload was
Because people are getting sick.
195.
They're depressed.
Budget for
They're
this,
sick.
extended
They're
family
afraid.
program is,
They're stressed out. They're
5.93 million.
overworked. You know?
Member.
How many families? Are
They have no
still
sense of
receiving,
security,
support under
no
children
no
home
no
relative?
purpose, no hope. That's what BC's coming down to, really. It never used to be like that, but that's how it's been getting to. It's a progression. Like I said, we're spiraling down like a whirlpool. We're digging ourselves in, like a screw,
For,
right?
11, 12 year children in the home of a relative was 2,649.
Yes, that's what we were talking about with Jenny, but
Member.
they weren't talking about this. They were talking about something else.
The program that is replacing basically replacing the children home of a relative has a far lower subscription than the children home of a relative. In the minister's review,
Let me
of
turn this
the
off
extended
and turn it
family
on as soon
program,
as she gets
is she looking at ways
over with the
to
question.
ensure that more families can actually access it and have the financial support?
This is
there
what
that
Jenny
goes
was
with it?
touching on.